Gray Matters is brought to you by Magi. Magi is my AI solution. I get asked a lot which AI platform is best. Is it ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, DeepSeek? Well, I don't know. Nobody does. And that's exactly why I use Magi. Magi isn't just another AI tool. It's the command center that brings all your favorite AI models together in one powerful dashboard. Imagine having ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and every other leading AI at your fingertips, all working seamlessly within a single interface. What makes Magi truly revolutionary, though, is how it solves the three biggest pain points for AI users. First, you can save and reuse your favorite personas across any model. Create once, use everywhere. Second, your carefully crafted prompts are stored and accessible anytime. No more rewriting the same instructions. And most importantly, Magi lets you compare results from different AI models side by side for any project. Why settle for one AI's perspective when you can instantly see how multiple models approach your challenge? Or you can effortlessly switch from model to model as you massage your content. Magi has transformed how I work with AI. It's the intelligent brain powering everything that we do at Gray Matters. And yes, Magi co-wrote this script. Back in the saddle with Vivica Von Rosen. And you notice I have a little bit of a spring to my step? Do you notice that?
I do. What is
I just said that and I just made my face. So yeah, I think I do. But
I was thinking you looked very particularly, bushy and vibrant today.
I love this time of year. This time of year. Even though the weather's still shitty. Yeah. I love this time of year. You know why?
Why?
In the Northern Hemisphere, we are gaining a little bit over 3 minutes of sunlight a day.
Right on.
That means this time next week, it'll be light over half an hour later.
That's amazing.
In 2 weeks, it'll be an hour more of sunlight.
An hour in just 2 weeks.
A little bit over 3 weeks. You never told me there'd be math on this podcast.
Sorry.
And then of course, as soon as we pass the middle of summer and it starts getting dark, it's so sad.
It's so sad. But okay, so here's the thing though, and I know everyone's going to feel really, really sorry for me. So we are finally coming into the spring equinox where we are actually getting earlier mornings and later evenings of sunlight. And I'm going to Costa Rica where it is 12 hours, baby, all year long, 5:30 to 5:30. So it's
on the equator. You're close to the equator. Yeah. Now, does that make a difference to how you feel when you're there?
A little bit. It definitely puts me in a different rhythm because, I'm getting up. Literally, the monkeys and the birds wake us up in the morning at 5:15 in the morning because as soon as
it's light at 5.
And then by 7 a.m., it is light, like middle of the day light. Like the sun is shining bright light at 7 a.m. So my whole day shifts and I am.
But you only have 12 hours.
Now. But you only have 12 hours. So I tell you what, by the time you have dinner, you're like going to bed. So it really has shifted.
Do you sleep more?
Yeah,
Do you sleep more because it's dark?
I sleep like 9 hours. It's awesome.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. But there's no shift. Like I wonder if people that live there, like we have this natural. I wonder if they have like what do we call it? Seasonally affected disorder, the depression?
I don't think so. No, because it's always a 12-hour day. It shifts by about 15 to 20 minutes, but it's always a 12-hour day. And
there's light doesn't deliver different seasons. No. Excuse my ignorance, but does the weather change very much summer to winter?
Well, there is that. So we get rainy season and dry season. So there's two seasons, rainy season and dry season. And rainy season especially, well, it's again shifting a little bit, but somewhere in the September, October, November, it is that I guess you would get because sometimes the sun doesn't come out at all. It just rains nonstop. I used to be a fan of like, oh, I love it when it rains all night long. It's so relaxing. Like after 3 months where we did not see the sun, I'm like, I fucking hate rain.
Yeah, well, I'm in Vancouver, so
you understand.
I was born here, so it doesn't bother me all that much. It takes a lot of rain before I really start to whine too much. But this has got me thinking about something. I recently did a webinar with Mike Vardy, a friend of ours who's a productivity specialist.
Good one.
And Mike we were talking about calendar blocking and about productivity stuff.
Yeah.
And Mike talks a lot about matching your what you're planning on doing, to the
Yeah.
energy level, to your rhythms, to your
Yes.
to the routines that you're in.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you're a morning person, doing those heavy lifting tasks in the morning and giving
Morning.
yourself light
Absolutely.
work in times
Yep.
when your energy is low. I wonder if as business people, we should be scheduling our business, what we do as far as our like year-long plan, for
Yeah.
the seasons when we have the time. I always thought that, you kind of plan more for the winter when there's not
Yeah.
a lot of other things to do, or
Yeah.
or you're not as socially active, let's say. But
Right.
maybe
Right.
that's wrong. Maybe we should be scheduling it to when we're brighter, smarter, we have more capacity to work in times like springtime or in the fall when we're, when the weather's better and when we're happier and when we feel more, the seasons that lift us up
Yeah.
emotionally.
Where we belong. No, I feel that's true. And it's funny, as you were saying that, I was thinking about like, oh yes, I'm going to write my book in November and December. I'm going to do this, that. I never freaking do it. Right?
Because
All
you're
the things I
depressed in
say I'm going
November,
to do,
December.
I don't do them. I don't do them. I just like watch Netflix
Yeah, because you're depressed. November,
because
December.
you're
That's when we're
depressed.
depressed. I'm sad. It's
Right.
terrible weather. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gain 8 pounds a week.
Oh, I
And
will. A week. Okay. Now we're accurate.
tell us about the interview coming up.
Yes, Karen Fritz Joy. It sparked so many thoughts. Now, Karen and I are so not the same as far as anything that we do, other than the fact that we are both here to empower entrepreneurs. But I love her because she's so structured and it's all about systems and she's just got that mindset. But yet, as we did this interview, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have so much in common. And one of the things that I absolutely love that she talks about is the cyclical nature of women's work. And I'd already been talking about that with some other people, but she really brought it home to me. And so these questions and this preamble that we're having, it is right on track. Now that's just one of the many things that we talked about. It was a really fun interview. But yeah, the cyclical nature of women's work really rung a bell for me. Today, I welcome my friend, Karen Joy Fritz, who I've known for a long, long time. And get this, she is known as the Purpostivity mentor, which is hard to say, but also really, really cool. She helps creative entrepreneurs who want to get important shit done. Together, we build the riverbanks that keep you in flow. And I talk about flow and pushing against flow a lot, so we'll talk about that. She's the co-founder of the Colorado chapter of Conscious Capitalism. And what I do know about her is she's at home exploring motorcycling, motherhood, management, or meditation. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you. I'm happy to play together.
I think we first met over 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And you had the little white Porsche. Do you still have that one?
I race it.
Gosh, that's amazing. This is one cool chick right here, people. And your focus is very similar to mine. We are working with the gray wave community, Gen X and older, who are moving out of the constriction of businesses, jobs, lives that no longer fit. And they're wanting to break free into entrepreneurism. And there's a lot when we do that, right? There's a lot of mindset, physical, fear, joy. This is one of the things you really love diving into with your clients. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I do.
Tell me about your personal journey, and we'll take it from there.
I graduated from corporate over 30 years ago and have been joyfully self-employed ever since. At this point, I'm unemployable and unmanageable.
That's awesome.
There's no going back. I've done so many different business models and ideas because I am one of those multi-passionate people.
Yeah.
And I try to do one at a time, but I'm not real successful with that. And what I've found is each of the different models of business has aspects that really match certain ways people think and don't match other ways that people think. And so the important thing for me is to recognize how somebody's worldview works.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
find that business model and the support systems that elevate the way they do work. And
Yeah.
and move away from the stuff that just isn't really yours, whether it's yours to do or your way of thinking, so that we can have that sustainable success, both financially and energetically.
I love that you said you graduated from corporate 30 years ago, because it sure is an education. Over the past 30 years, how have you seen entrepreneurship change, and how is entrepreneurship different, or is it different? Someone older than 44.
When I started my first venture out of corporate, I tried to hide that I was working from a home office. I would put my street address and then Suite 101B because it was not credible working from home. And the assumption at that point was every person who was an entrepreneur was building toward $1 million exit strategy. Everyone wanted to become an employer. Everyone wanted to be one of the big kids. Everyone wanted to become the corporation they'd just left. The social definition of success.
Yeah.
And over the years, especially during the lockdown, I think we started to see this. I get to define my own success.
Yeah.
I work with our local Startup Week, which is a peer education event. It had all of these talks about how to get funding, how to hire people, how to manage your people, and all that. And I said, guys, I don't ever want to hire people again. I've done that. I've built a team. I don't want the overhead. I don't want the responsibility. I don't want the dependence. That's not what I want. None of those talks apply to me. And they said, well, what do you want? And go build it.
Of course.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
But what I realized, what I do need at this point is to acknowledge the number of people who want to be freelancers, to be solopreneurs, taken collectively, are far larger than the number of people who are looking to build an empire. And in our county, we found that 68% of the employees are in businesses of fewer than 10.
Wow.
68.
That's crazy.
So when we focus on what does it take to make those individuals sustainable in their success, we're elevating the entire geographic economy.
That is really interesting. I remember starting my first business and identified with what you said, because I thought I have to grow it to $1 million business, which I didn't have the funds to do. So it was all sweat equity. So 68% of people have companies that are 10 or fewer. Is it because entrepreneurship is more accessible now, or is it a mindset shift, or both?
I think it's both. We do have, as you say, a lot of the tools that make it, I'm not limited to my local geography unless I have bricks and mortar, but there's also a different idea of what is credible.
Yeah.
I can go to a large company and contract as a consultant. Okay, we'll send that check to your house. Or I can reach out to other small businesses or people who are just starting businesses. Access was not available 20 to 30 years ago.
So we have two things going on as you were talking: passionpreneurs. So definitely businesses that we are passionate about and want to build around. It popped into my head like a multipreneur. So someone like you who's got multiple businesses going at any time, or like me, I've got my business, the podcast, the LinkedIn Lives, the books, the Women's Reset Collective, the network, Legacy VIP. It's a entrepreneur in that way as well. I loved what you said about there's a common thread usually when we have multiple businesses. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
The common thread at this point of my life is knowing what I'm here for. The purpose for me is the wisdom, the insight, the energy I carry into any room I enter.
Yeah.
And it really is irrelevant. There are so many parts of my experience including traveling to different continents and the different business models that I've tried and all the people I've met. I am the collective of that.
Yeah.
And so when I walk into a room, potentially with young startup business owners, I love the local 30 under 30 group. I get to go and be that entrepreneurial elder. I'm able to say, and here's something else for you to put into your stew, like the stone soup kind of a thing.
Yes.
I can bring in the different cultures I visited. I may be acting as a landlord, creating affordable housing for people getting on their feet. I can do that when I go grocery shopping, in running my own businesses. That's the piece that carries through, is basically a vehicle to carry that thread. My big path for personal and planetary transformation. I do it.
Absolutely. I try to help clients find that path to transformation, planetary transformation. It really becomes the calling that you were born and put on this earth to do, but needed experiences to fully form that business. I had a client talk about imposter syndrome, feeling like an imposter because of her age and that she wasn't relevant anymore. What would you tell someone who feels irrelevant, who feels imposter syndrome around bringing their new business to life?
Imposter syndrome is fundamentally comparisonitis.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm comparing myself to other people, then I'm not on my path.
Love that.
So when I'm walking into a room filled with 30 somethings who are social media,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, great, you do that because I sure as hell don't wanna.
No, exactly. Yeah.
At this point in my life, I have the wisdom to say I'm always looking at that complementarity. I want to find people to work with who have similar values
Yeah.
and very different skills.
Love that. Similar values, different skills. It doesn't matter how old you are. There's no such thing as ageism because of the skill sets that we bring. Oh my gosh, yes. I love that. So
And
when you're working with someone and helping them discover what they were put on this earth to do, how do you do it? What are some strategies? What are some common threads that pop up a lot? When working with a new client, how do you help them uncover those gifts, that calling they have as you work with various clients? Are you seeing common threads that pop up? What are they? What are some strategies to overcome the negative common threads? Let's promote the
okay.
positive ones.
When I start working with somebody, I always do an intake.
Yep.
Because of my background, it's a thorough intake.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at right brain, left brain, introvert, extrovert, multiple intelligences, integral quadrants, Enneagram types, different lenses. Start to sense, how is this person designed? How do they fit together? My belief is every one of us is ideally designed for exactly what we're here to do. Our personality isn't some accident to overcome. It's in the direction of the ultimate contribution that we are.
Yeah.
Some of the questions I use are like, what was your favorite thing in high school? I loved band. We're going to include music in their support system.
Right.
My favorite thing was sports. Awesome. We're going to make sure that movement is part of what they're doing during the day. What do you think is most broken in the world?
Mm.
And what would then take it underneath that
Yeah.
3 layers, right?
Yeah.
What would it be like if that were solved? And
Yeah.
from that, I'm going to hear their idea of the one thing that they want to bring. If somebody says people should just care about each other, everybody should have access to education, whatever. And if everybody had that, if everybody really cared about each other, how would the world be
Yeah.
different? Oh, people would be free to pursue the gifts they have. You're here to help people pursue those gifts. It's a pointer back. And then my third power question is, how do you know when you've had a good day?
I
How do
love these
you know?
questions.
Right? Because that's going to get a lot of stuff done on my task list. Great. I understand that one. We'll make great lists and you shall have all the little dopamine hits of checking things off.
Check, check.
So for the people for whom that's how they know they had a good day, great. I
Yes.
help a lot of people. So we're going to structure your workflow around your clients and your people. The challenge then becomes, okay, I can help them to give words. What I tell people is I provide words. I expect that I'm 85 to 90% accurate.
Yeah.
And I need you to correct me and tell me, oh, but it's actually this. Like I
Nice.
need to bounce the straw man proposal in there so you can find where it's not quite there.
Yes.
No one outside you is your authority.
Right.
We're going to practice from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
And my calling is to apply that in the world of small business entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've raised kids. They're not my role to help the world.
No.
This is my playground.
Yeah.
Where am I going to apply it? What does that difference look like?
Yeah.
And from
Love
that,
it.
be able to state that elevator pitch. I'm
Yeah.
here to help these people with this result. And this time it's with that program. Onto the
Exactly.
program.
No. It's
And
just
I
a
know it.
vehicle, like your little Porsche, right? It's
Yep.
just a vehicle. Maybe it's a motorcycle, maybe it's a Porsche, maybe it's an e-bike.
Right? Yeah.
But moving down the right path.
I don't need anybody else to be on my path.
Which
It's
is why you
crucial.
don't have imposter syndrome, because it's
Right.
your path. I love that. So are there common threads that pop up from your clients?
The common threads that pop up from my clients
Yeah.
is that most of them are people. I am one of those tasky people. I like doing things. I love loving on people one at a time. And then those people go out and they want to love on hundreds.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's leverage. I can
True.
love on a few and thousands get loved on. This is a better world. I draw that pattern to me. I'm here to
Absolutely.
help people who are not unlike a lot of the marketing philosophy,
Yeah.
the thing that you've been through is the thing that you're going to teach. And
Right.
no.
Opposite of that. Thank you for sharing marketing philosophy.
As I work with these people, I find is they recognize that they're good with people
Yep.
and that they have given less attention to structure. Was that tactfully
Mhm.
enough said?
Mhm.
I only work with people who are incredibly they come to me, don't even look at my inbox because I've got 400,000 unread. And I'm like, I only get people who have that situation, but they are in a vulnerable place.
Yes.
So we normalize that and say anybody can learn. But in the past, what they've done is to try to go to the expert books
Mhm.
on time management, right?
Mhm.
Now, the best practices for time management come
Yeah.
out of information age
Yep.
through insurance claims offices. The
You
people are
had
the
me
same.
until insurance claim offices.
So in
Hey.
the 1950s, insurance claim office is doing the same job.
Yeah.
They're doing the same tasks every day.
Yeah.
They are men
Yeah.
who have the same energy all month.
Yeah.
All these practices are predicated on consistent availability and workload
Yeah.
and repetitiveness, none of which describe my world.
I
Why
see where
would I
you're
think
going
that
with
book
that.
would work for me? Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's
Like,
all that's been offered.
okay.
So that's why when I started to look at it based on my own experiences of, I have so much energy and I just want so many more projects and give me more to do. And 2 weeks later going, I can't handle it all. I just feel so overwhelmed. Something's got to
Yes.
go. And 2 weeks later, I have so much energy. Now I'm ovulating. Like, obviously, that's no longer the situation. But
We
when
still have those cycles.
that's not energetically sustainable success.
Yeah.
So, how do I organize my relationship with my work
Yeah.
so we can have conversations about how much we have available today? what's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it might be on an annual cycle. Hello,
Yeah.
February. It
What
can
was
be on
up
a
with
daily cycle.
February?
I don't schedule things after 4 p.m.
Same.
My boss, she's right about that.
She understands. She might get you up at 3:30 in the morning to write down an idea, but
Right?
she's not
Right?
going to make you work past 4.
I have freedom about
Yeah.
how I schedule my time
Yes.
because of the way
Yeah.
I've set up my business. I love to
Absolutely.
take on
Yeah.
February.
Today is beautiful.
It's great. Great. What I do, I tell my clients,
Yeah.
I make sure you give me your stuff Friday because
Yeah.
I'm going to do things over the weekend. And then
Yeah.
I'm going to take off Tuesday and ride my motorcycle when the roads are empty. Go do
Yes.
my grocery shopping when
Yeah.
the stores are quiet.
Stores empty.
I choose. I organize that a little bit every day is great for me. I like a little bit all the
That's
days.
Oh my gosh, you just awakened me to the possibility of, yeah, maybe I work a little bit every day and have more time off every day. Now that my husband's retiring in 2 weeks, he might be up for that.
Right?
While he only had weekends off, we wanted to optimize that. That's
Big
brilliant.
change.
I love that. My aha moment. How about the rest of you? Let us know in comments.
Right.
Now, like I said, there's so much I want to talk about, but before we wrap up, you have a purpose audit, which we will put in the show notes. What is this purpose audit? It sounds very interesting, and I'm going to do it after this call.
This is a way to really reflect on how much your business aligns with your purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the purpose of the business is to fund the lifestyle.
Yeah.
As long as you're clear about that, that is good and honorable.
Yeah.
And other times it's like, oh, my purpose is to be able to show up with wisdom in a lot of spaces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you know that if you looked at my website? Would you know that from my Facebook posts?
Right.
Do you hear that from me? How much am I letting that knowledge resonate through all the things that I do?
Brilliant.
It's not just a thing that I do. I visited on New Year's.
Right.
It's in everything I do, including my morning planning is check in with my body, bring my purpose to the surface, and now look at my list.
Yeah.
What are the things that are aligned and hot?
Yeah.
Everything I do during the day, when I come to that next thing on the to-do list, it's like, and that one's on purpose.
Yes. Yes. That's like literally on purpose, following your purpose. Like you bring a whole other layer of meaning to the idea of on purpose,
Right?
aligned with purpose. I love that. Okay. Where can people find you? How can people reach out to you?
My website is KarenJoyFritz.com. I'm really into simple now.
I know.
There are links to connect and have a time together.
Love
I'm
that.
also most active on Facebook because
Yeah.
I'm of that age. I may be on a road trip in my converted van doing game nights with the game I invented. It's all possible.
Well, I thank you so much for your time today. You've got the Purpostivity book, and I think you have something else coming out around that. Is that right?
I do.
Yeah.
I am building a Purpostivity app, like a
Cool.
co-planning session for mornings to just 5 to 7 minutes of get in your body. That's the part that does the things.
Yep.
Surface your purpose. And
Yeah.
it's eyes open at the keyboard. What's on your to-do list? Let's prioritize it together.
Nice.
Because many neurodivergent clients have trouble with prioritizing. They go into overwhelm. They look at their
Everything is
list.
important.
Let's work
Present.
pre-paved so that as you encounter those activities during the day, there's that energy that goes, oh, we get to do this.
Hey, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I
I'll
love
be
it.
soft launching around Equinox in beta right now, gathering the feedback.
I love that you're launching it during Equinox. You are walking your talk and following the cycles. Thank you so much, Karen. Have absolutely loved having you on the show today. Definitely got some nuggets. If you're listening, or watching this, let us know what your nuggets are below. Steve and I are now going to have a little talk about this, but thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
So I can see how you said that she's totally different from you. The organization, interest in systems building, but for somebody that's kind of that's a little bit more on the would you say the emotional learner side, the intuitive. What are those? What are those? Yeah. What is those? The you have all of the initials, the ENTY.
Oh, the INFP. Yeah, she's definitely J. Yeah, we're both I, but yeah. Yeah,
okay. You can't just throw letters at me because I don't remember any of this stuff. My daughters occasionally get into this stuff and they want to classify everybody. And you're such an ERY dad, and I go, good for me. They go, no, that's not good. I go, okay, sorry, but at least I'm identified. Don't put labels on me, kids. But for the entrepreneur to be able to take their passion. Take things that they're passionate about, and then systematize the delivery, systematize the mechanism is crucial. And obviously that's something that speaks near and dear to my heart because I'm such a technology guy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. She actually is in your book. I'm sorry. You're in her book. It was funny because I knew Karen ages ago, like long before I started, I think even before I started doing LinkedIn. So long time ago. And we reconnected recently at an event, and I got her book, and it mentioned my dear friend Steve Dotto. So okay. I love that. So when I had the opportunity of inviting her on the podcast, I did.
And then she was disappointed that it was you interviewing her, not me.
I know.
That makes my day. But let's close the loop because she's got a product launch which is happening. And she is looking at those cycles that we were talking about.
I love that she talks about, like literally auditing your purpose. I mean, that really shows. I talk all about purpose and joy and meaning and calling. And she's talking about auditing your purpose. But again, it's such a powerful concept. So there is actually a purpose audit tool that in the show notes people can get access to, and I highly recommend that. And then I also love that she's got this new Purpostivity, which is the name of her book too, but this new Purpostivity app for actually planning around your best working cycles. So I'm looking forward to seeing that tool and getting my hands on it.
Was there enough insight in your conversation or the time that you spent that you are thinking about changing some of your processes?
Yes.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah. No. It's interesting. I'm glad you asked that because I would have said no until I stopped to think about it. But I now realize that since I had the call with her, I've really tightened up my processes, and I'm actually putting more and more and more into place. And I think on a subconscious level, Karen had a big part of why I'm doing that is because of Karen.
For entrepreneurs, there's so much stress that comes into our life from so many different areas. And the last thing that we need, well, there's lots of last things we need, but something that we definitely do not need is we do not need vagary. We don't need too many options of where to spend our time at any one time. We need a form of structure. We need a form of structure and systems. Good, efficient systems putting in place give us those structures. And just like we were talking about at the top of the show, I just revisited the entire concept of calendar blocking with my community on the webinars. And every time I look at how systems work and how they can work for us and kind of look at them from different perspectives, it's almost like reaffirming your wedding vows. I realize the value that these systems have for me, and that when I stray away from them, I'm not at my best. And I'm not at my best mentally, and I'm not at my best productivity-wise, and I'm also not at my best quality of work-wise.
It's ironic that our creativity thrives within our self-inflicted bounds sometimes. Like we have to put... Right. Yeah, exactly.
Guardrails. It allows us to focus our energy. It might seem ironic on the surface, but when you stop and drill down, it means that your energy... It puts guardrails on it so that it's focused in the right direction. It stays on task.
Just little nudges.
Little midges, indeed. Well, thank you so much for bringing Karen's message to us. As you mentioned, we're going to have her audit tool and links to her app in the show notes. And thank you so much for that today. With that, till next time, have fun storming the castle.